Good evening, parents and students, and welcome to Virtual Curriculum Night. I'm your host, Megan DiMaggio, and I teach your child science. So let's begin. So, this is just a little bit about me. I went to the University of North Georgia, that's up in Dahlonega. I do have a degree in biology and chemistry, so science has kind of always been my thing. This is my ninth year teaching eighth grade physical science. I started doing my student teaching in eighth grade and I never left. So, definitely my preferred grade level. This is my second year teaching at River Trail. Before this, I was just down the street at Autry Mill. The reason why I chose to come to River Trail is because this is the community in which I live. So my daughter and eventually my son go to Shake Rag, and they'll eventually be coming here. So I wanted to be around to be doing more for my kids, but also being more involved with the schools that I live in. So that's why I came to River Trail, and I'm very happy that I did. But knowing that I live in the community is you very might well see me out and about. I know in this time I look like this with a mask on. So if I see you, wave hi to me. I might not know who you are because I'm staring at screens all day, but you will at least know me, and I would be more than happy to say hi to you. Okay? My past career was not always teaching. I wanted to be a veterinarian, but not just any vet, one that actually did zoo animals. So, like lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. Kids usually don't get that joke. But I realized after I started working with kids, learning about veterinary medicine, that this is my true passion, is teaching. Whether it's face to face or through a screen, my goal is to bring the joy of science to your students, because science is the world and we need more excitement of that. So even though I'd rather see them face to face, I will teach them through a screen too. But I hope to engage them and do some science experiments and get them curious about maybe exploring their backyards even and finding science fun again. It's just a little bit more about me. These are my family. I've been married to my husband, Mike, for about almost 12 years now. We have two children, Lorelai, who is currently at fifth grade at Shake Rag, and Landon, who is in pre-K and will be joining Shake Rag team next year for kindergarten. We are Auburn fans. I did not go there. My husband did, but by association, we're Auburn people. And yes, I know you're jealous. We have met Thomas the Tank Engine, so we're pretty much celebrities. But enough about me. You came here to learn about your child's curriculum for science this year. So let's talk. Let me just move my face out of the way there. There we are. So physical science is an overview of two really hard subjects in high school, chemistry and physics. So physical science is not meant to dive deep into either one of these areas, but more to give an overview so that they'll be more prepared to focus in deeper chemistry and deeper physics later on. First semester, we're going to focus mostly on chemistry, with energy kind of being the bridge to our chemistry and physics. Second semester will all be physics, force of motion, electromagnetism, and waves. They will have two finals, one first semester and one second semester. The second semester final will only cover second semester material. I'm sure that you heard that Georgia's waiver for the milestones has been denied. What that looks like exactly, I'm not 100% sure, but milestones will cover all year material, but we will cross that bridge when it comes to it. Honestly, I'm not concerned with it, neither should you. But when I know, I will definitely let you know. Then we have what you guys probably really want to know is how to navigate this whole virtual learning. And now I know there's been some frustrations with tech not working, or I don't know where to go to find this. We're working through it. It's hard to show the students what to do when we're not with them to show them ourselves. We can only share our screens. But I'm hoping tonight I will hopefully clear up where to go and give you some tips to help your students navigate this tough world that we're in right now. Our main source of instruction and information is going to be through Teams. Teams is where all of our information for classes are going to be housed. There are some external things that we do use in ClassLink, but all the directions will be posted first in Teams. So how do we use Teams? Is we have a couple of channels that we use. Now, I have several other channels, but I use this for during class, so you don't have to worry about those. The ones that you should worry about is the general channel. Our general channel holds our class notebook. Inside our class notebook, and I'll show you this in a minute, has our class notes, my PowerPoints, and answer keys to all the assignments that we do as practice. Our assignments tab, which is also in the general channel, this holds all of the assignments that I send out to the kids. It will also post down here in our general posts, so they can either click on the assignments tab up here to view, or they will see it directly in their post as well. This is where they're going to do their work and turn in their work, all in this assignments tab. Okay, and that's in the general channel. I also am posting the retake request form right here in the general channel, so it's right there available to you. Now the retakes, we'll talk a little bit more when we get into our grading and the process for those, but those will always be on the general channel. Then our next channel is called Class Meeting, and your students are awesome about this one because this is where they go to join the live meeting. I also include a daily science agenda in there just in case you have technical difficulties or you're absent for a day. You can still go in, see the agenda of what we did, see the assignments, and all the meetings are always recorded so they can review the lesson at a later time. The last one for your viewing is going to be our weekly lesson plan. Students don't really care too much about this, but I know as a parent, I need to know what's happening so I can best help my child. And this is where I'm going to have all of the week's lessons that I plan on doing for the week, including warm-up, the lesson, any exit tickets that we're going to do. It's all going to be in here. And I try to stick to it. Sometimes I might need an extra day or so, and I'll let the students know that as well. But that's there. But what good is any of this if you don't actually see it for yourselves? So I'm going to take you now into Teams, and I'll just open this class here. And then that way you can see exactly what your student sees. So the first thing that opens up is the general tab. So if there was an assignment, as I just posted one here for tomorrow, this assignment is, or tomorrow for me, not tomorrow for your students, this is an assignment that they have and they can post, and it comes right up to them. Another way they can get to the assignments is going up to this assignment tab, and they can see what assignments have been given to them. If they have not done it, it will be in the assigned tab. If they've done it and I graded it, it will be in their returned tab for them. So this is the assignments. The class notebook is where we hold all of our class notes. And if you come over here to the content library, each tab will have a different unit, and it will show them all the notes and answer keys for that unit of study. So it's a one-stop shop for everything they need to be successful for the summative. So that is all in the general post. The class meetings, this is where you'll see the recording that we just had for class, but you'll also notice there is a science agenda of what we did for that day. So everything that they need, including the warm-up form and their notes, are all here, okay? And then the last part is this weekly lesson plans. This channel holds all the week's lessons, so can't believe it, we're already at week 4, but this will have all the plans that I hope to cover throughout the week. So this is a good thing to maybe print out and have at their workstation so that they can use this to kind of figure out what we're studying for the week. Okay? All right, well now let me go back to our presentation and continue our discussion, but I hope that clears that up a little bit more. So when we do use external tools, they are all found in ClassLink. So the ones that we use are Explore Learning Gizmos. These are our online labs that we do. We use Illuminate, which looks like this icon. This is for our summative assessments. Our tests and quizzes are in here. And then we use their digital textbook, the HMH Ed. Now there are two icons. One has a smiley face on it and called HMH Ed, and one does not. The one that we use is the smiley face one. This has an excellent source of digital lessons and online quizzes that go right along with their workbook pages. This is what we will mainly do for our Wednesday asynchronous learning. So when we try to get into screen free, I get a headache after staring at the screen, so I can only imagine how the students feel. So as much as possible on Wednesdays, they're still learning, but I'm trying to get them away from the screen to do real science, or if we don't have a lab scheduled, to at least work in their physical workbook so they're not staring at the screen so much. So the assignment will be on Teams when they do this, but the activity will be away from it. For example, when I schedule them to work in their workbook, they will actually work in their real book and then come online to take the online assessment to prove to me that they did their work. Okay? Otherwise, I'm going to do a hands-on lab. Now, the labs that I'm doing at home are materials that should be found in a kitchen. Sometimes there might be materials that I ask you guys to get just to have that. But if you don't get those or don't have them, trust me, I can find substitutes. Just like our M&M lab, we did all sorts of things. We tested gummy bears and Jolly Ranchers, and we even tested some biscuits. Okay, so we can test other things. But I will always email you and inform the students several days ahead of time to give you time to get that. So don't rely on your students telling you at midnight the night before that they need something. They knew a few days ahead of time. Don't let them fool you. Okay. I want to share just where you go to ClassLink real quick, just so you can see our different HMH Ed. So we have two. These are two of the same. This is the one we use for our textbook. When they log in here, they should see their class period at the top, and they should have an assignment tab. This is where any assignments that I assign from the textbook, they will be listed here. Okay. Another assignment that we use this gizmo. So this will open up labs. When you click on this one, they will see their class period, and then they will have different activities that I've already listed. These are all online labs for them to do. And then the last one they do is Illuminate. And Illuminate would look different on their end because when they log in, it has a list of assessments that are assigned to them if they have them. On my end, it's totally different, so it's not too much to show. All right, let me go back here. Okay. So next we have what we call mastery-based learning. It's essentially our method for grading. This year, for at least the first semester, it's definitely different. All summative assessments, which could include tests, projects, formal lab reports, and quizzes, are at 100%. That means summatives are the only things that are going to affect a student's grade this semester. Formative grades are things like labs and classwork. They might not be graded, at least officially, but they might show up in Infinite Campus as a way to look at their learning to see where they are progressing toward mastery-based learning. But the summative is going to be the end result of that learning. Formative is how we get there. Summative is at the end. For summatives, they have three categories. Finals, which are going to be weighted the most. Test and major projects will be weighted more than quizzes, but less than the final. And quizzes and minor projects are going to be weighted the least. So in Infinite Campus, they might be weighted ×1, ×2. They have a different weight to them. All summatives are going to be used through Illuminate. Okay. Formatives, though, we can do formatives with forms. The assignments tab I showed you, we might use Illuminate. Gizmos for labs and their textbook. All of these would count as formative or learning material to get to our mastery-based learning. So then let's talk about what happens when our tech goes a little bit batty, because it will. So your students are really good at knowing how to restart this computer. And unfortunately, that's probably one of the best things to do. But there is another trick. If they can't get into Teams meeting, the one thing that they need to do is email the teacher. If they can't get in, as long as we have some sort of contact from them, then we mark them as participating. But if we hear nothing from them or they don't show up, we have to mark them absent. But we understand tech happens. Just let us know, okay? If they can't open forms or assignments, the best thing to do is to check for updates and restart. Just restarting the computer won't work unless you check for updates first. And I'll walk you through that process as well. Flipgrid has been wonky this year. I don't know why some people can't get it and some can. I don't have a fix for that. So if I ask students to do a Flipgrid video, honestly, that was just my way to see people, to see real faces and interact with real students telling me about science. But if tech is not cooperating, they can just submit the written assignment on Teams. That's okay too. I just really miss those faces, so I do enjoy watching their videos. But I get it. Illuminate. We did run into, with our first test, Illuminate not opening for students. The only way I found out was restarting it like a million times, okay? Before I talk about this retake policy, I want to show you how to check for updates. Even though we've told our students about a million times, they forget. So to check for updates on their computer, you want to go to their Start menu, and you want to head to the Settings. Once at the Settings, you want to scroll all the way down to Update and Security. Now, their computer should have a blue link that says Check Online for Updates from Microsoft Update. This is the important one because Microsoft doesn't always come through our computer. Sometimes we have to check online for them. So if you have this link, you want to click on this to check for updates, like this. If you don't have that link, checking that gray box is the best we can do at this moment. Sometimes, though, unfortunately, the computers at home won't pick up on important updates unless you're on the FCS Wi-Fi. Annoying, I know. I think they're working on a fix, but for now, the best way, if you can't get in touch with the tech office or the tech number, best way is maybe come up to the parking lot and check for updates. I know it's a lot, but it's the only thing that I have found that works so far. Okay? Now, Illuminate is where we take our test, and let's say their tech gets wonky, or maybe they're just having a bad test day, or they're stressed out because they couldn't get into the Teams meeting. It's okay. Luckily, we are based on mastery-based learning this year, which means 80% and above is mastery of the standards. If your student makes an 80% or higher on a summative assessment, they have mastered that standard. But let's say they make below an 80% for whatever reason. They can retake that up to 3 different times to master that standard. As soon as they make above an 80, they are good to go. 80 is good, okay? I want you to hear that. 80 is mastery, and that is our goal this year, 80 or higher. If they made below an 80, they can get in touch with me via forms that I will submit after every test we take to request a retake. They do have to have all assignments completed because that is practice, and they have to attend a help session with me so I can reteach the material that they missed. That way, we can make sure that they're learning the material and not being penalized for wonky tech or having a bad day. So that's a good thing for mastery-based learning. Now, last thing I want to share with you is my expectations of students during this crazy time. During URL, and really during normal class too, students are expected to be on time. I understand class or tech issues happen, which is why I always try to open the meeting a couple of minutes early to work those problems out. But I want them to be prepared for class with paper and pen to work with, or pencil. I want them to do their best work all the time and not just listen to me talk, because I want them to be interacting with the material. All our notes and other assignments should be reviewed pretty much every night. So this science is difficult, And even though we're not giving out homework, they do need to study and get into a habit of just reviewing what we talked about in class. I would say give a good break away from the screen, and then maybe a little bit before bedtime, just review real quick, 10 minutes, what we did. That way, they can keep fresh in their mind and help study for mastery of the standard. All the assignments, whether they're graded or not, are important. I don't give busy work. I give practice. And if they don't practice, they're not going to master the standard. So it's really important for every student to do all assignments that I put into teams, especially because they have to have those done if they want to do a retake later on. Absences happen, whether it's a tech issue or you're just out. But luckily for us, everything's recorded. So your student can easily log into Teams, see the daily agenda, see the recorded lesson, catch right up, and actually listen to me as many times as, I know, scary, right? As they want. That's because we're all recorded and they can review the lesson as many times as they need to be proficient with the learning. And I think that's about it. So, along with this link, you got a link to complete this form if you have any questions. This will be the fastest way for me to answer your questions going through this form, so I can compile kind of a fact sheet. But if you have personal concerns about your student, you can always reach me through email. It might take me a minute to get to it because, understandably so, during virtual time, we are getting quite a few emails, but I promise to get back to you as soon as I can, within 24 hours at best. I also have a website that is kind of obsolete now that all of my notes are on Teams, but you can still view it. I have a calendar and I have notes on there and some fun pictures, so it might be worth checking out. My help sessions are by appointment during our office hours. Currently, they're from 8:20 to 8:50. Sometimes on Wednesdays, we have time in the afternoons to schedule help sessions as well. If your student needs a help session, just email me and I will set it up for them. Well, it's been a pleasure letting you know a little bit more about me and my science classroom. I'm looking forward to actually seeing your children's faces again very, very soon. Until then, make mistakes, make messes, and take risks. Have a great afternoon.